Hey, how's it going, everybody? I want to talk really quick about why I am a voluntarist. And if you haven't heard that term before, a voluntarist is simply someone who wants to maximize voluntary interaction and transaction amongst humans. It's pretty simple. It just basically means you want people to consent to everything that they do to the best extent possible. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. There are things like people who are children, under the parents' care. There are people that have disabilities that are unable to function without the help of others. But the idea is, to the best extent possible, maximize freedom of choice. And also, within that context, maximizing this idea called the non-aggression principle. And that pretty much means that you're avoiding the initiation of violence against others that is not in self-defense. So in other words, and these are almost kindergarten concepts, like don't steal from others, don't take something that doesn't belong to you. The basic idea is you are abhorring and avoiding all initiations of violence. And this could be as easy to see as, you don't stab or punch somebody, or it could be a little bit more mysterious, such as taxes, which are monies taken from individuals at the threat of force just by existence, are morally wrong. And there are a lot of underlying, arguments about, well, how do you define property and how do, you deal with different issues, whether, it's what's the age of majority for children, things like that. And those are all great questions. And for any of them, I don't think that there will ever be a perfect answer. But there isn't a perfect answer when it comes to government either. If you go across different jurisdictions and states and countries, no matter where you go, people have a different idea of what is majority, what different levels of self-defense are in this or that. And really, literally it's as simple as stepping an inch over a line to where what you do could be totally legal or totally illegal. And so when you take a look at voluntarism and compare it to what is, in other words, with governments and things like that, all it's saying is it's removing that initiation of force that is justified by the nature of, a government's existence. In other words, people have to first actually consent to something before their persons, their bodies, their physical property is just taken from them. And it's a very simple, I could say ethical philosophy, but it's very profound in a time where everybody really tries to create these little carve-out policies about what's, right or wrong, or, what's legal or illegal. It's a very, very simple policy of don't initiate violence against others, and don't take what doesn't, belong to you, what you haven't actually earned. And of course, again, I don't want to oversimplify the underpinnings, but I do want to say that it is a much more consistently applied philosophy than what governments implement when it comes to what you can or cannot have, or what they can or cannot take away from you. And so in a sense, voluntarism is a positivist philosophy. In other words, I try to argue to people or convince people of the ideas of liberty. In other words, that liberty is a better way of existing, and getting people to subscribe to that, to these ideas of right to oneself, right to what one earns, the right to trade freely as long as you're not physically, hurting somebody else. In other words, you're not, going to stab somebody, you're not going to, punch somebody, you're not going there and pointing a gun at somebody's face and talking about to, shoot them or something like that. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask. It's been an amazing life changer for me when I started to delve down this about when I was 20 years old. It's been a couple years down the road since that, but it really helps make everything so much clearer and gets rid of a lot of this gray area of laws that say oh, this is wrong, but there's no victims. You know what I mean? Oh, you can't do this, but nobody's being harmed. Or if you work really hard and it's all on you, then somebody else gets to take a portion of that, and it's just subjective to whatever they decide this year is going to be their keep. So I hope that's encouraging, and I'll talk to you later.